So this is pretty cool. Myles Turner gets introduced by the Bucks, says he wants to keep contending for titles. This is something that I just caught right here when I zoom in on Google. Look at this. Myles Turner, his deal with the Bucks, a 4-year contract worth 108.9 million for 4 years. Look, if you just round that up to 109, check this out. This deal is 109 days after his birthday. You see that? He's got that March 24th birthday, which you'll see in the breakdown. Freaking A, man. 109 days this deal comes after his birthday, and it's nearly 109 million on the deal. Check that out right there. Isn't that amazing? Let's be more specific. 108.9 minus 4.
108.9 minus 4 is 104.9.
Oh, excuse me, divided by 4. My bad. Okay, so just over 27 million per year. Okay, so that's on the fly. And here, here's Myles Turner right here. So he spent 10 years. I thought he was around longer. So he spent 10 years with the Pacers and now headed to the Bucks. Remember the Bucks, even though different positions, I think the Bucks lost Damian Lillard. Let's look at Damian Lillard just to see if there's any on the fly connections. Look at that. Damian Lillard's birthday, as I speak right now, is in 2 days. See that right there? Freaking birthdays in 2 freaking days. I mean, isn't that amazing? And they mentioned Lillard, and that's awesome. Has anybody signed Damian Lillard? Waived by the Bucks, now a free agent. So it's funny how this stuff happens, right? Isn't that funny? I mean, where's he gonna go? I mean, as the script continues, isn't that awesome? So I mean, let's go back over here. So we caught that near 109 million, 109 days after his birthday. Well, notice how that's the same. Look over here on the right. That's the same as 3 months, 17 days after his birthday. 317. Scroll down. July 11th leaves 173 days in the year. So 317, 3 months, 17 days after his birthday. 317, right? On the day leaving 173. So that's just kind of on the fly right there. And you see right here, switched addresses this summer. This is the most significant free agent, they say, who switched addresses this summer on Friday. You see that right there? So that's pretty awesome. And now we can go over. Let's go over here and play a video. That's pretty nice on the fly. Let's play this.
The Bucks just became a much more dynamic offense because for basically the entire Giannis era, their goal has been to surround him with as much shooting as possible.
I hate when that happens. Here, let's try that again. Now, are we not going to play now? Nah, we won't play. Screw it. You see that? What's up with that? Let's try one more time to play the video.
The Bucks just became a much more dynamic while Brook Lopez always had the ability to step out and knock down threes.
Doing that, stupid. All right, so I'm gonna refresh that real quick. Gotta love it. So here you can look at the Pacers. The Pacers lose Myles Turner. You could see they finish, and the Pacers went to the NBA Finals. Let's not forget. But you see the Pacers 50-32, and Myles Turner headed to the Bucks. You see how the Bucks were ranked just below the Pacers in the standings right there. Okay, so let's try one more time to play the damn video. Let's see if is it gonna work this time. Let's see.
The Bucks just became a much more dynamic offense. Because for basically the entire Giannis era, their goal has been to surround him with as much shooting as possible, and that starts in the front court. While Brook Lopez always had the ability to step out and knock down threes, he was never a versatile offensive weapon in the way Myles Turner is. Turner's coming off a season where he shot almost 40% from 3 on 5.5 attempts a game. That alone makes him a dream pairing next to Giannis, but he also shot 53% on mid-range jumpers outside of 10 feet. He's an efficient post-up player who can take advantage of mismatches. He's mobile enough to consistently run the floor and score in transition. And most importantly, he's the first athletic big Giannis has played with in his entire prime, which should unlock so much more offensive versatility for the entire team. With that dynamic offense, he's still a great shot blocker, so don't overlook the Bucks with how wide open the East.
This freaking script, man. Every year they try to give teams like certain hope, and it's just over and over and over again. And it's like, Giannis, he'll probably end up moving at some point. So they mentioned Giannis. As with Damian Lillard, you see how, I showed you his birthday's in a couple days. Let's pull up Giannis just to see if something pops before we move forward here. Giannis, nice season this past year. That's pretty nice numbers. Just over 30 points and almost 12 rebounds. 6.5 assists right there. He's got that December 6th birthday, the center out of Greece. Let's pull up. Did Brook Lopez go somewhere else? And we want to kind of note birthdays and such. Brook Lopez, pretty serviceable. 13 points, 5 rebounds, 50% from the field. I'll take that on my team. Is he on? Where's he at now? His nickname's Splash Mountain. So he's on the Clippers now. So they're talking about Myles Turner being more versatile or whatever. He's age 37. When's dude's birthday? Let's check real quick. And then we'll move on with the slides. He's got that April Fool's birthday right there. Brooke Robert Lopez. All right, so let's go over here. And it's not always about the trending story. There's always, as I evolve as a decoder, there's side connections. And I thought it was interesting that Myles Turner has the same birthday as Peyton Manning. And Peyton Manning is most known for being a member of the Indianapolis Colts, as Myles Turner, they said, spent 10 years with the Indiana Pacers. What do you think about that? Same birthday, both heavily connected with Indiana teams. What do you think about that? March 24th on the birthday, you see Myles Turner born 20 years after Peyton. And of course, Peyton went on to Denver, right? I think that was the only team. And now Myles Turner, he moves on to Milwaukee. But what do you think about that? And look, Peyton, Pacers. Come on, man. This stuff is with the language, with that same birthday right there. It's at first I'm like, okay, I noticed Myles Turner. Okay, I know that birthday. That's the Peyton Manning birthday. Give it a few minutes. They're both connected to Indiana. And then I know it's not a coincidence, right? check this out. You want to hear one of the reasons why I'm shadow banned? They don't mind that we know that about the celebrities. There is a system running the world. Notice how you can't do nothing without being entered in a system now? Go try and get a new job. They're going to make you download an app. They're going to get you online. It's going to be synced up with some other tech company. They keep track of all your information. It's all in a system, right? I'm telling you, you land at certain places, people land side by side with you at a job. If you only knew, okay? And notice the birthdays here. You see March 24, 3, the third month, March. 3 plus 24 is 27. Remember Myles Turner's deal with the Bucks, just slightly over 27 million a year. Now, if you're talking Indiana in sports, who may be like the biggest piece that Indiana has to offer in sports? I mean, WNBA or not, who's more trendy than Caitlin Clark? That's C, the third letter, CC33. Myles Turner has that 33 on his jersey. Will it remain with the Bucks? I don't know. And speaking of that 33, don't forget who was born in Indiana, uh, connected with the number 33, Larry Legend, and then went on to coach the Pacers. Don't forget about that. Larry Bird, number 33. Is Larry Bird like the most famous 33 in the NBA ever? I'm not here to debate that. I'm just putting the facts out there. Bird's known for the 33. Don't forget, Bird equals 33 in the language as well. But you see Caitlin Clark, CC 33. Don't forget her teammate, Aaliyah Boston, like Bird played for the Boston Celtics. But Bird, born in Indiana. Don't forget he went on to coach Indiana. You see CC 33, Caitlin Clark, and you see that 33 connection with Indiana. I mean, if you didn't know, now you know. Turner equals 33 in the language. You see that? Indiana in the reverse cipher, 137. That's the 33rd prime number. As and I mentioned the 33 on the jersey, right? You see it right there. Okay. Now, so that's some big time connections with 33 as he moves on to play for the Bucks. I'm just going to go on the fly real quick. It doesn't mean I'm going to hit, but I like to do this to go along with what I'm presenting. I could think of another Turner. I'm just going to pull up Ted Turner on the fly just to see if anything lands. All right. It doesn't mean it's going to land. It's just this is what I do. Ted Turner. And let's just see. Okay, so I don't really notice. And there always might be something there that I don't catch, right? And we're not done with side connections, okay? So I don't notice anything with the November 19th birthday and the 86 years old entrepreneur, television producer Ted Turner. Robert Edward Turner III. That 24 lands. I mean, maybe you can call it a stretch. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. And notice how this is Robert Edward Turner III. I don't know, man. That's Robert Edward Turner III, and we just went over all the threes. He founded the cable news network. You see? So that's got to be CNN, right? I don't know. Let me know if I'm wrong. CNN, cable news network. Look, the first 24-hour cable news channel, 24, when Myles Turner's born on the 24th. Oh, that's pretty interesting, isn't it? Definitely interesting. Yeah, CNN. Isn't that's definitely interesting. Okay, so that's on the fly right there. If I were to do a deeper dive, there's probably more there. And again, that's Ted Turner the third. That's pretty wild on the fly. And as I stated, that is not the only connection on the fly. So we're about to hit the other connection. Now you see, this is the new team, Milwaukee. Look at the language here. Milwaukee equals 100, like Myles Christian Turner. You see that? This is just the language. Full name has 100, like Milwaukee. Former team, the Pacers. Pacers also has that 100. I mentioned Dame Lillard is a free agent, no longer with the Bucks. Remember Dame time? He is going to be. He's most known for being a member of the Portland Trailblazers. And Trailblazers, when you spell it right, maybe it's Portland. Portland equals 100. Portland's got the P like Pacers. Look at that. Portland equals 100 with that Dame Lillard connection. Remember, Lillard's birthday is in a few days. They mention him in the article as that being, a key reason to Myles Turner. I mean, uh, syncing up here with the Bucks. You see, as we just scroll down, and that 100 syncs up with the 10-year career too. 10, right? 1-0, add another 0, you get 100. And let's not forget the whole time that the Pacers lost in game 7. They were one game away from winning the championship in the scripted NBA, right? But yeah, they even are going to mention Dame Lillard over here. And, it's probably just like right here. I'm just not seeing it, right? And I probably already passed it. I don't know. Maybe it's up there in the first paragraph. I don't know. But I don't see it now. But yes, as Dame Lillard moves on to free agency, so you see that connection. That's pretty nice, right? So back over here. There is, from what I remember, at least one more celebrity connection. Oh, two more now that I think of it. You see, with Christian being the middle name for Myles Turner, Donald Trump's dad, Fred Trump. Look at this dude. He's got, it's not Christian, but it's Christ or it's Christ as the middle name. You see that right there? Christ or Christ, I don't, however you pronounce it. And T Trump, T Turner. And I just thought this was interesting because look at this. I know Donald J. Trump, or excuse me, Donald John Trump. Look at that 220 in the reverse cipher. And this guy, Myles Teller, who is an actor, Myles Teller, like Myles Turner, right? This dude's got the 2/20 birthday, 220, like Donald John Trump equals 220. Myles Teller, like Myles Turner. And look at how Donald John Trump, I've brought it up recently. Look at that 185 like basketball. That 220 is like 22. Basketball equals 22. Donald J. Trump 68. Basketball equals 68. Myles Turner last season averaged 6.8 rebounds a game for the Pacers. And I mean, Myles Turner, had to cough there. Okay, I'm back. But that's weird, right? Myles Turner. Look at the 220. That's also Rihanna's birthday. And the Christ or Christ with Trump's dad. Look at what else I noticed. Let's go. Let's pull up this Myles Teller guy. That's what's cool about Google. You can go and enter someone's name and it'll pull up these other searches. Look at here's Myles Teller, like Myles Turner. And check this out. That's interesting that he's age 38. He's age 38. Is Ted Turner born in 38, y'all? Ted Turner is born in 38. You see that right there? Ted Turner born in 1938 with that connection right there. Isn't that amazing? Myles Teller, like Myles Turner, age 38 currently. You see how this connects? And you know what's interesting? Ted Turner, what networks does Ted Turner own? Look, TNT has basketball as well. And I think TBS. Does TNT and TBS have basketball NBA? They do. Oh, wait. Oh, not this season, but in the past. TBS lost it. TBS lost its NBA package. But they were on TNT recently. Was NBA on TNT recently? Yeah. See? Isn't that interesting? So you like how I went on the fly right there. And something else I noticed with this Myles Teller guy, look at the movies he was in. He's in this movie The Gorge, which makes me think of Paul George, who who became a star with the Pacers. You see that? Isn't that interesting? Paul George. That's pretty cool. As you see right here, who drafted Paul George? Isn't that cool? I think that's solid right there. He became a star with the Pacers. So you see that how we get Gorge and it's George? This stuff is with the language. And there may be something right in front of my face with all of that. We already hit, right? But there may even be something better. So you see how that all happens? And you see how that all cycles around like that? Isn't that interesting? I should look. What is Myles Teller most known for? I should ask. What is Myles Teller most known for? Top Gun. And isn't Top Gun? Is there going to be a new Top Gun, or is it just other Tom Cruise movies? Dude played Bradley, Rooster Bradshaw. Is there a new Top Gun? Wow. You see, isn't that interesting? And look, the Mavericks are a basketball team. Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild? New Top Gun release date. Not confirmed. Isn't that amazing? Wow, that's amazing, man. You see how that, I mean, let me know. Do you think I'm over exaggerating? Or do you think I might possibly have a gift? I don't know. You tell me, I mean, I'll value your opinion. Even if you're an AI bot, give me your best shot.
I was talking to somebody about kind of what we could use this year, and I was like, boy, if we could get Myles Turner being similar to Brook, the three and rim protecting, but a decade younger.
There's no projection with Myles in terms of how he fits. 39% shooter from three.
Unguarded threes last season, Myles Turner 41% on guarded threes, 36.5% from a catch and shoot. So pick your poison.
Has gotten better each year. Is that rim protector where Giannis doesn't have to play the five and he could get, still be that roaming guy. But the pivot had to happen. And Myles has led the league in blocks twice. Myles Turner is not an all-star yet. Guys tend to get to those levels when they play next to 34. If he's around that 15 to 18, like 2.5 blocks a game, and the Bucks are kind of doing their thing.
All right. I think he was more valuable in before the league turned into what it is now. If you ask me, like, who can't hit threes, who isn't versatile now? I mean, everything's changed, right? And so pretty wild, huh? And yeah, they lost in game 7. So we just had the 10th day of the 7th month as well. Look, 10-year NBA career so far, lost in game 7. I noticed that right there in the title. Are y'all eating these sandwiches? I don't eat out like fast food or anything, but God, those are, they are appetizing, like, for real. You know what I mean? Like, it does sound, it's food, right? But it does sound kind of scrumptious right now. So I have become an old man, y'all. And they may give us some different numbers. I don't know. I asked Google on the Oh, there's Lillard right there. Damian Lillard right there. So that's a lot of money with him not being there now, right? So they're able to get a different position player, but Myles Turner. So yeah, what do you think about that? Hopefully I presented that semi well. There's always going to be something I miss. There's some solid side connections, in my opinion, with that breakdown. And you can never recapture the energy. Mike appears to be on. I'm just kind of like looking. There's going to be more stuff within here, but I'm trying to evolve as a decoder. Obviously, there's probably something in here that hits nice within these numbers, and probably something I missed, but I can't spend all day doing like these massive breakdowns. We already hit 20-30 minutes just freaking going on the fly. You know what I'm saying? So that's solid, man. Google's telling us 108.9 million over 4 years, just under 109, and 109 days after his birthday. What do you think about the Peyton Manning connection? I mean, that's amazing with the Indiana connection. That's absolutely solid. Peyton, Pacers. But I'll leave it at that, as maybe I'll do some doom scrolling before I take a nap. OKC and the Thunder. You see that, man, game 7. So the Pacers, they came up just short. Myles Turner gets introduced by the Bucks as he gets paid some bucks, right? Says he wants to keep contending for titles. We'll see what happens. I mean, that's the scripted NBA. Until next time, peace.